Tonight, our special transmission as MPs question the handling of free speech in Canadian universities amidst Israel's war on Palestine. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. Today is the 123rd day since the onset of Israel's war. Palestinian Health Ministry reports that in the past 24 hours, Israeli forces have carried out 12 massacres, resulting in the killings of at least 107 Palestinians. In Rafah, Israeli fighter jets have intensified airstrikes, killing at least 12 Palestinians and injuring dozens. Reports show 6 civilians were killed in Israeli shelling in Rafah's Khirbat al-Adas neighborhood. An Israeli sniper has shot and killed a Palestinian woman outside Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. Rights advocates are raising concern over a potential Israeli ground invasion in southern Rafah. 1.4 million displaced Palestinians are residing in Rafah. The United Nations says Israel's invasion will lead to a large-scale loss of life. Qatar says Hamas has a, quote, generally positive response to its mediation efforts. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says a truce is very crucial to sustain peace in the region. Blinken is on a visit to the Middle East. The proposed deal was drawn up more than a week ago by the U.S. and Israeli spy chiefs at a meeting with Egyptian and Qatari officials. It is believed that the truce would last at least 40 days. The first phase will involve freeing Israeli captives. Next phases will include handing over soldiers in exchange for the release of Palestinians imprisoned in Israel. At the time of writing, the Palestinian death toll stands at 27,558. Another 8,000 Palestinians are presumed dead under the rubble. 66,978 Palestinians have been injured. The U.S. is voicing alarm over distressing images of Palestinians in Israeli custody. The images show Palestinian men detained, stripped down, living in inhumane conditions. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller labels the images, quote, deeply disturbing. He's pledging to investigate their origins. Israeli media footage showing a Palestinian detainee subjected to mistreatment has prompted further condemnation from the U.S. State Department. Spokesman Vedant Patel has expressed concern over the video. He says it is very important to respect human rights and that the violators should be held accountable. The Israeli Defense Force, in response, says it has dismissed the soldier in the footage. It says the detainee will be released after interrogation and will not be harmed in any way. Earlier, Mark Regev, a senior advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, had scoffed at international condemnation at the disturbing images of Palestinian prisoners. Commenting on the images of half-naked Palestinian prisoners, he had said the Middle East is warmer in climate. The Department of Education has initiated a probe into Harvard University following a complaint by Palestinian and Muslim students alleging discrimination. Students claim Harvard has failed to shield them from harassment and intimidation. The students say there are several incidents of students facing threats solely based on their Palestinian, Arab, or Muslim identity. The complaint has been filed by the Muslim Legal Fund of America. It says Muslim and Palestinian students are distressed and remain fearful on campus. Harvard, already under scrutiny for alleged anti-Semitism, pledges cooperation. The university's interim president has established a task force to combat Islamophobia and anti-Arab bias. 13 Liberal and Green MPs are questioning Canadian universities on the strategies to protect faculty and students amid rising tensions over Israel's war on Palestine. A letter addressing 27 universities is seeking assurances against discrimination and supporting those advocating for Palestinians or Israelis. The letter has been initiated by Liberal MP Shafqat Ali. The MPs expressed concern over reports of bias-related incidents on campuses. These include profiling and disciplinary actions against individuals expressing views on Israel's war. They urge universities to uphold academic freedom and engage with affected student groups. The MPs aim to address these issues through dialogue and oversight. They have set a deadline of February 26th for university responses. Israel's aggression in Gaza is deeply affecting the Canadian Muslim community in the province of Manitoba. Many Muslims in the province feel stigmatized by media coverage. They are concerned about being labeled as terrorists. This emotional toll extends to Palestinians in Manitoba, some of whom have lost numerous family members in the war. There are around 1,000 Palestinians living in Manitoba. Sheikh Amar Khatib, the Director of Education and Religious Affairs for the Manitoba Islamic Association, says the community is feeling helplessness and despair. He emphasizes the importance of supporting one another and promoting peace. Tasneem Vali, a volunteer with the Manitoba Islamic Association Outreach Committee, believes that faith can provide resilience and calmness during these challenging times. She reminds people that faith must be coupled with helpful action. She says support should be provided to those who are grieving and people should donate to relief efforts. A former British MP, Tom Harris, says Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party, should ignore Muslim voter pressure on the Israel-Palestine issue. He's drawn parallels to Tony Blair's era when Muslim support waned over military interventions, but Blair still won subsequent elections. Harris wrote in The Telegraph that Starmer's lead over the Conservatives remains unaffected in overall polling despite Muslim opposition. He says adjusting policy to appease a minority group could damage long-term credibility. Harris says Starmer's defiance against popular opinion has garnered respect. He says true leadership entails unpopular decisions. Harris says Starmer should continue prioritizing principle over short-term gains to demonstrate his fitness for national leadership. In a recent poll commissioned by the Labour Muslim Network, support for Keir Starmer's party among Muslim voters has dropped by 26%. This is the highest drop since 2019. The United Arab Emirates is in discussions to purchase Egypt's Ras al Hekma coastline for $22 billion. The move aims to provide economic support to Cairo. Egyptian media reports agreements are being finalized between the Egyptian Ministry of Housing and Emirati Finance Ministry. The project aligns with Egypt's 2052-year plan to boost global tourism by developing Ras al Hekma. These investments are crucial for Egypt amid a foreign currency shortage. The situation has been worsened by heavy borrowing from abroad and a fixed exchange rate against the dollar, despite disparities with the black market rate. The influx of Emirati funds is expected to bolster Egypt's central bank reserves and alleviate the currency crisis. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.